Good morning. Today is a great day for Georgia State University and a great day for the future of Georgia State athletics. I think as everybody in this room knows, Georgia State athletics is on the rise. In 5 years under the leadership of Cheryl Levick, we've gone from not having football, not playing at the major level, to just 4 years ago introducing football for the first time. You all know the history, the move to FBS, officially approved by the NCAA this month, entry to the Sun Belt Conference, and already winning multiple Sun Belt championships, and a record season in men's basketball, an outstanding season in women's tennis, golf championship, all the way to the national championship round. It's been a tremendous year, a lot of momentum. So as we went out to conduct this national search for a new athletic director, we were looking for the complete package. Looking for somebody that's a builder, a proven winner, and somebody that's built a winning program by doing it in the right way. And I'm delighted today to be able to introduce to you the person that we found, because he is exactly what we were looking for. In fact, we got a bonus in this package. Not only is he a proven builder and a proven winner with a track record of doing it in the right way, but he has tremendous Atlanta roots, knows this community well, has worked in this city, and knows what we're doing and the potential we have with this program. So without further ado, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you the new athletic director of Georgia State University, Mr. Charlie Cobb. Welcome, Charlie.
I want to first thank you guys for an incredibly warm welcome. The last couple of days have been tremendously fun for me, for my family, to experience Georgia State and experience the hospitality. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce a couple of people that are pretty important to me, if you will. This is Lindsay. I'm her husband, as we like to say. The true boss in our family, this is our daughter, Brandon. You have to stand up, you want to be recognized. So there you are. I'm doing it for you. And then this is our son, Harrison. So if you will, these guys you'll see them around a lot. They're part of what we do. When you're in athletics, we all know it's a lifestyle, and we get to experience that. I'd like to take a minute first to thank a couple people back in Boone and in Appalachian, specifically Dr. Ken Peacock and his wife, Roseanne. 9 years ago, they gave me the opportunity to live a dream, and that is to be a college athletic director at the Division I level. 1,000 life lessons have been learned in those 9 years. Ken's pet phrase was about teachable moments. We all get to work with kids at this stage of life, and we understand the idea and the teachable moments that 18 to 22-year-old kids have. A lot of us experienced those same opportunities when we were going through college. And so I genuinely appreciate what Ken and Roseanne and their family did for me, for my family, and really for Appalachian. I'd also like to thank Dr. Sherry Everett, our new chancellor at Appalachian. She's been a wonderful addition to campus. She's been genuinely interested in helping me through this process. There's a part of me that I'm going to miss the opportunity to work with her. I think she's got tremendous things ahead for Appalachian, for the campus, and certainly for the Boone community. I think she's been a great addition. And then the third group of people that I'd like to thank real quickly are literally the thousands of people who comprise what we refer to as the App Nation. If I could use 2 words to describe that group of people, I would talk about passion and I would talk about spirit. We have a tremendous staff. We have a great group of coaches. There are nearly 500 kids who play sports for us, represent the university every single day in an incredible manner. And I've been fortunate and blessed to be a part of that for the last 9 years, and something that I will take life lessons from and obviously transition to Georgia State and use those life lessons to help each and every day. So I want to thank everybody back in Boone, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. Real briefly, I'm incredibly excited about this opportunity. I told Dr. Becker just earlier today that I thank him for the opportunity. I'm excited to be here. My family's excited to be here. I think there are great things ahead for Georgia State. I was asked why the interest in the job, and I use the word real simple, potential. There's tremendous potential. I enjoy being a part of building something. I want to be a part of building something. I think there are great opportunities here. I appreciate his leadership. I appreciate his vision, and I look forward to being a part of that. There are 4 values that I want everybody to understand that I bring to the table in terms of how I see Georgia State. Number 1, the first one is relationships matter. I want us to invest in each other. I want us to invest in this campus. I want us to invest in the community. I think athletics has an unbelievable presence on the college campus. And it's an opportunity for us to shine and show the best it is of Georgia State. So we're going to really focus on those relationships. The second thing I want everybody to focus on is this notion of achieving success. One of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older, I've become a better reader than I was when I was a college student, all right? Like a lot of people. I spent a lot of time reading books about John Wooden and his whole pyramid of success. And anybody who knows about the pyramid of success and knows about the foundations of what John Wooden was about, number one, he talked about success being this peace of mind from the self-satisfaction of knowing that you've done your absolute best to be the very best you can be. That's his definition of success. The scoreboard takes care of itself if you invest in yourself and you invest in the people around you, right? The second thing he did is in his cornerstones in his pyramid, he used the word industriousness or hard work and enthusiasm. And you got to have both if you're going to be successful. Everybody knows practice is hard, no matter what sport you play. The great part as a college athlete, it gets to be fun. And as a coach, it gets to be fun. We get to go to practice. We get to play games. We get to be a student athlete versus having to. And those are important things that I want to bring with me as we transition through. The third value I want to bring to the table is about being innovative. We obviously have to be very creative in what we do. We have to think differently. As an example of this, it was great for me to, I understood the story yesterday from talking to Coach Miles about the summer camps he did. People got upset about it. Why? Because a coach at Georgia State did something nobody else had thought about. All right? Changing the way things work within the structure that are NCAA rules. That's the kind of thinking, that's the kind of mentality that we have to bring to the table each and every day if we're going to achieve our dreams. And then finally, the fourth piece of it is what I refer to as creating tradition. One of the exciting things for me, frankly, is as Dr. Becker mentioned about being a builder. I enjoy creating things. I think the opportunity here at Georgia State to create unbelievable traditions and really mold a bunch of people to support Georgia State. Certainly, you can be an alum of another school or you can be friends, but at the end of the day, there's an opportunity for us to create tremendous value through those traditions. And I want to make sure everybody understands that that's an important thing, I think, as we build the brand and we identify who we are and then tell the rest of the world. So if you can start with me, ride with me, value those four things as we get started here, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great challenge. Certainly, we're all competitors. Most of us are competitors. We enjoy those challenges, and I look forward to being a part of the Georgia State family. So thank you for the warm welcome.
Well, if there are no questions, we'll leave.
Doug Robertson, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. How are you?
It's great. I appreciate your patience, and great to put a name with a face. So thank you.
I hope I didn't blow up your cell phone.
No, you're good. You're good.
How important was the Turner Field proposal to your acceptance of this job?
I think what for me when I started looking at the opportunity that Georgia State presented, the Turner Field piece was an incredibly important and viable piece to the future of the athletic program. I saw a vision which excited me. I think the idea of if you want to build a football program and a successful program and then build the brand around the program from an athletic standpoint, but also a university perspective, an on-campus facility, not only for football but for the other sports is vitally important. And certainly the student engagement piece that comes with that for campus and building that identity. So I'm incredibly excited at the opportunity. And candidly, as a lifelong Braves fan, it's kind of fun to actually I got to play in the old Fulton County Stadium twice, and so it's kind of fun to actually be back on those footprints and see what happens.
Talk about how your background can help the Turner Field proposal just be realized and developed.
Yeah. I think part of the conversations that Dr. Becker and I had through this process was he's got a great vision. I like the idea he's a dreamer, and certainly he's got some pretty solid ideas. I think the fact that it's in its infancy, there's a lot of conceptual ideas, but it's certainly not realized, or there's not a set plan in place. Refer to it as basically putting a puzzle together, pieces of a puzzle, they're there. Let's figure out the best use of those puzzles. I've been fortunate in my career at NC State and also at Appalachian to be involved in a lot of facility projects. I told these guys in the interview process, I actually went to college to be an architect. Something about playing sports in the afternoon lab class has gotten in the way. But for me, that's part of who I am, and it's part of the energy or the passion that I bring to a job or a situation is that creativity. I know it doesn't fit the body, but as time goes on, I'll explain that to you. So it's yeah. So
How has Georgia State's footprint and perception, in your opinion, changed from your time working in Atlanta in the mid-'90s?
You know, it's I think the exciting challenge ahead of us is, and I think Coach Hunter proved this past year with the great run in basketball. There are no limits to the expectations, and there's no limits to the excess. I view my job real simply as I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And what I can do to help all of our coaches and all of our sports, all of our kids succeed, that's important to me. And that's what I think that when you don't have limitations placed on what you can do, and you figure out creative ways to look forward, not behind, I think that's the part of Georgia State that I'm excited about. I like candidly being a little bit of the underdog. I'm the youngest in the family. You know, I don't mind. Went to NC State, you know, Appalachia. You've got to build. You've always got to have somebody to kind of aspire to be better than. The competitive side of you comes out, and you've got to value who you are and understand that it's going to take some work. It's a challenge. There's no question about it. But I'm excited about that challenge.
Chris Hilliard with PantherTalk.com. Talk about obviously at Appalachian State, you were in the kind of the shadow of some big programs there as well in Georgia, with Georgia and Georgia Tech being such long storied established programs. Talk about breaking through in the Atlanta market and the challenges that you foresee and how you plan to overcome that here at Georgia State.
You know, I got asked a question a lot about, okay, you're coming from App, and that's Boone, and it's metropolitan of 20,000 people if you count everybody twice. There's never been a real number, which is always kind of interesting over the years. But when you look at Appalachian, you look at Georgia State, there are a tremendous number of similarities. You guys have a very young, very populous, but very young alumni base. Appalachian has 105,000 living alumni. The average age is 34. So a very young, energetic fan base. If you give them a reason to be successful, or give them a reason to be supportive and engage them, part of what I think that has been fun for us is the fact that there's not a person we wouldn't go talk to. There's not a group that we wouldn't go spread the message. When we did our own study to talk about going from SCS to FBS, we did close to 60 stakeholder conversations ranging from 30 people on campus or a town council meeting to several thousand at an alumni function to say, here's why we're doing this for the best interest of the university. But that engagement piece is certainly possible. I think there are enough people with Georgia State ties in the Atlanta market that want to see this university, see the athletic program be successful. I think it takes engagement, and it takes a lot of understanding those dynamics. Certainly the media piece of it is important. We've got to be out. We've got to be relevant. But we also have to give people a reason to come to games, to whether it's in the Dome or the basketball or whatever happens with the Turner Field project. We've got to create that experience that the casual person will say, this is something I really like to do, whether it's during the week or the weekend. I think there are obviously a tremendous number of entertainment options, but I also think that it's important for us to carve our niche. And the big piece of that, frankly, is our students. I love the idea of the 4,000 students who live on campus. That's going to be the core we start with. We've got to give them an opportunity to experience what a residential campus is about. I think the others will come once they see the excitement and the fun that's coming from those kids.
What is your first goal, your first task as AD?
My first goal. Try not to be a smart aleck.
He does have a sense of humor if you haven't figured that out yet.
I was going to say to get back down here was really what my first goal was to be back down here for the football game. I really think it's incredibly important that I listen. I think that it's the conversations as we talk about this relationship piece. I want people to see me for who I am, not what I am, but I think it's incumbent upon me to do likewise, to see people for who they are and really understand the dynamic, the culture that's here, not only within athletics but also on campus, and really start to utilize the resources and the experience of people here, and then shape my own views, my own opinions. I want to listen to the coaches to tell me what they need, what their expectations of me, and ultimately our administrative staff to help them and benefit them. Because without their success, obviously it's a struggle. And so I think really focusing in on listening is a big piece of really what my first goals are.
Here in the back. How you doing, Charlie? Brandon Leak, 680 The Fan, and analyst for Georgia State football and basketball
Gotcha.
on your flagship 1340 The Fan 3. Welcome to Atlanta.
My pleasure. I'm pretty fired up. You can say all that.
Ready to roll.
Yeah, you got it. You're in mid-season form, so it's a.
Two questions.
Yes,
how do you measure success with your programs and your coaching staff, and how do you describe your leadership style?
Yeah. The first question I'll answer is by leadership style. I think simply a leader is somebody who makes others better. I think my goal as the leader is to create a vision, use stories, use experiences to shape that vision. Part of the process that I'm going to go through. I also think candidly, I don't get. I'm not swayed real easy. I don't panic, I guess, is an easy way to say it. I want to make sure that we put a group of people that have different opinions, different thoughts. Certainly, I value input and want to create conversation around topics and issues. I like to think through things before reacting. So I really feel like my personality blends well, and especially being married to a coach that can ride the ups and the downs. I think it's, the idea of seeing that piece of a season ride and wave, I can kind of give a leveling point, if you will, in regards to that. To be honest with you, I blanked on your first success. Oh, it's measure success. Thank you. From a coaching standpoint, yeah, it's been a long couple of days. From a coaching standpoint, I'll sit down with the coaches, and we developed a matrix to where we look at sports over a 3-year period of time. Both, I want to talk a lot about student-athlete experience, and it's really about athletic success, academic success, and also social responsibility. 3 prongs to that puzzle. But as far as the athletic success piece, really looking at a 3-year window of wins and losses, compare it to the league, compare it to budgets, compare it to other factors. Also look at it from an APR standpoint, an academic perspective, GPA perspective, see how we're doing there, and then also really the idea of community service, of where we are and the things that we're doing to engage. I think, as I've understood, a vital part of the Turner Field project is community engagement within the university, back to the neighborhoods around the facility and the project. I think our student athletes would provide a huge opportunity for outreach in those areas for that community to really help bridge that gap. So that's one example of that aspect. But really take those 3 prongs, use them from a metric standpoint, and really focus and shape how we drive things.
I appreciate you mentioning the students. I'm a student, and over the summer, a poll was conducted by our student-run media, The Signal, and they found that 75% of students wanted to hear campus sports broadcast on WRAS, the student media station that was our radio station. Dr. Becker stated to The Signal that he's not concerned about the broadcast going to an AM band. Do you feel that student involvement in media coverage of sporting events is important?
I think any publicity we can get for our teams is vitally important. We obviously have to work through constraints and opportunities. Honestly, I don't know enough about the specific situation you bring up to be able to address it, but certainly one that, as we go forward, I can take a look at it or defer to Dr. Becker to give a little bit of that history. Okay.
I'm guessing in your interview you discussed a fundraising plan for Georgia State. Can you shed any light on that plan, and which of the existing projects, not Turner Field, but of the 3 that they're looking at, take precedence within that plan?
No, I'm not really sure. I can tell you at this moment which one is the most pressing. I need to really study it and look at it to and have a wider conversation with folks to really understand where that goes. The eerily similar piece to where Georgia State is now, or the situation at Georgia State right now, and 9 years ago at Appalachian, there were ambitious facility projects and plans at Appalachian as part of the interview process, and it was one drawing, a schematic on a sheet of paper. It allowed me the opportunity. I was a little bit surprised that there wasn't more behind it. But the amazing opportunity it provided me was really to look at things and utilize a great team to put together, again, I went back to those puzzle pieces of facility projects that I think most people will recognize are pretty significant for the overall growth of our athletic program. We need facilities for our kids to compete in and to practice. And so I look forward to really quickly diving into looking at that. As it relates to the fundraising piece, there's a second similarity in that when I went to Appalachian, we were raising, the annual fund raised close to $600,000 with about 700 members. Sound familiar? This past year we've got close to 3,400 donors in our Yosef Club, and we raised $3 million for our annual fund. So we call it the Mountaineer Climb. But I've been incredibly fortunate. One of the best hires I made was hiring a man by the name of Rick Beasley to lead our fundraising operation, and had an unbelievable connection. He was a former Appalachian athlete, but he was my connector, and he gave me credibility from day one. But he was our connector with the Appalachian family, and just did a tremendous job of really building the culture. I felt like I knew the theoretical parts or the analytical parts of fundraising. He knew the people, and so putting that puzzle together, putting those relationships together, and obviously we had some success as well. But it was really a great effort, and Rick's going to be somebody I'm going to miss working with on a daily basis.
Akeem Balaam with the Signal newspaper. One of the challenges that Appalachian State, Georgia State, and a lot of other smaller conferences have been facing as of late has been this whole issue of the autonomy ruling that was just recently issued by the NCAA, where the larger Power 5 conferences are going to be able to make their own rules separate from Sun Belt schools like App State and Georgia State. So, if you could give a little bit of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think there's a tremendous amount of still yet to be determined about where this goes. I think part of the conversation that gets missed in the discussion, frankly, is if you look at the budgets for the Power 5 conferences, if you want to use that phrase, they've been significantly greater than the rest of Division I for a long period of time. We've just not operated under a potential structure that's being proposed. I think there's a tremendous amount of debate as to what is good and what isn't good. Anything that we can do to take care of student athletes from a welfare standpoint is critically important to all of us, no matter what, if you're Division I, Division II, or Division III. I think it's inherent in what we do. And so I look forward for the discussion to continue. I look forward for us to have a strong part of it. One thing about Dr. Becker I've been really impressed with is he's very engaged in this topic. And so to have your college president really engaged certainly gives me great comfort that athletics will have a voice here on campus.
Two questions. When do you actually start, number one? And number two, how would you describe Georgia State's facilities now compared to Appalachian and maybe some of the other similar colleges that you've seen?
Mentally, I started about 24 hours ago, I guess, and emotionally probably about 23 hours ago. So it's I'm gonna be here for the first football game next Wednesday, and then really looking at Labor Day to get started right after Labor Day. Need to obviously move and do some transition pieces in that regard. From a facility perspective, I've seen a global view, and I actually rode around the other night when I came into town just to kind of get a quick glimpse. I'm really anxious to walk around and touch and feel the facilities that are here. I think part of a bigger piece of the future for the program is to really develop a strategic plan. And I think that one of those principles in that plan really is to look at the facility side of things and really prioritize what we're trying to accomplish and what we want to accomplish, and then obviously the funding pieces to it and the construction side to it. So if you give me a little bit of time to answer that one, I can. From a comparative standpoint, I think the Sun Belt schools very much look all the same. I've been to all schools. I've not been to Louisiana Monroe. It's the only school I've not been to. But I've been to Texas State. I've been to Lafayette. I've South Alabama. So I feel really, and I've been to play south of here a little bit and a few times. But I think we, and I'm not talking about Macon. And so it's and I did that for TK, so the AD down there. But I look forward, honestly, to creating the rivalry. I think it's with Georgia Southern. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I've seen the facilities, and I feel we've got some areas to grow, and I think a plan is really the important piece of that puzzle.
You mentioned Georgia Southern. That's obviously.
No, you mentioned Georgia Southern. I said the place.
Obviously, you have experience with them, having been at App State and in the same conference as them. Talk about that aspect of them joining the conference and what you're looking forward to about that.
Yeah. You know, going to Statesboro has always been a lot of fun. And I say that with all sincerity because my son had a great life experience years ago at Statesboro that we won't describe publicly. But it was one of those dad moments. You go, wow. And I think that's, to me, it epitomizes the beauty of what athletics is about. I've got great respect for Dr. Keel. I've got great respect for Tom Kleinlein, the athletic director at Georgia Southern. Tremendous respect for Sam Becker, the former AD at Georgia Southern. I know Willie Fritz, their football coach from his Sam Houston State days and at the FCS level. So what I'm genuinely excited about is I like the notion of rivalries. I like the opportunity to be able to create something. And again, talking back to the values of creating tradition, I think the Georgia Southern-Georgia State rivalry is one of those traditions that can be created. In what aspect? And I think there are hundreds of different ways that we can do that. And but you know, one of the best messages I got in the last 24 hours was from TK Tom Kleinlein, who said, "Man, welcome." And he said, "Now the war's on." And and this is somebody that we look forward to it. So.
For President Becker, can you go through a little more of the timeline of the process and the hire, when the offer was extended, et cetera?
Yeah, it's actually real simple. We started the search whenever we announced it a couple months ago. Hired Parker Executive Search to scour the nation looking for the best talent available. They put together an incredibly strong and talented pool. Screened a small number of candidates last week, and yesterday morning met Charlie for breakfast, interviewed him, and offered him the job yesterday afternoon. And he's here today. Thanks.
And he slept a whole lot more than I have.
That's the nutshell version of it. Okay.
President Becker, if you would please talk about the different people that were involved in the selection process and what went into who had a say so, who got to talk to the candidates, and if you could, who got to voice their opinion.
Yeah, no, Charlie interviewed with coaches and with a variety of people that touch the athletic program in different ways, including faculty representation, as well as athletics department staff, representatives of the Panther Athletic Club, the PAC, et cetera, financial supporters of the program. So he was had the opportunity to meet a broad spectrum of folks who deeply value and are committed to Panther athletics, and hit a home run every time he talked to anyone.
If I can add, I'm trying to put faces and names because it was a long parade of people. That was a big part of what excited me about the opportunity, the challenge. There are a lot of people here who genuinely care about this athletic program being successful from all aspects of campus, and so it's fun to walk into a challenge where you have people who are excited to be part of that journey, and so I look forward to being a part of it.